Welcome to Rollu, a completely new enrollment tool for private schools. Most admissions products offer solutions to further maximize your close rates with the families that are already applying. Rollu has been conceived to solve softening enrollment demand by simply finding more interested families. Heads of school, leading industry consultants, association directors, business managers, and admissions directors that have seen this product have all agreed that this could be a game changer for the private school industry. Schools have reported fewer applicants through declining demand, resulting in empty seats. Every seat that goes unfilled represents thousands of dollars missing from the operations budget. An empty seat represents an asset that is currently bringing in no revenue. When a seat goes unfilled, it should be considered the same as a seat that's on financial aid, and in this case, it's on 100% financial aid. Strangely, most schools don't count these financial aid dollars until they fill the seat with a partial pay student, at which point they complain that filling the seat stretches their financial aid budget. Beyond the obvious financial shortfall, there's an emotional effect on faculty and staff, who no doubt sense that a shrinking population can't be good. To make things worse, if parents start to sense weakness, it could silence referrals, which will quickly lead to more empty seats. Wealthy parents that are acutely aware of the laws of supply and demand have started asking for aid when in many cases there is no true need, simply because supply being greater than demand almost always results in lower prices. So what's the solution? Build demand, of course, but where can we find more demand? There's no refuting that schools have found it easy to attract families with high need or no need to apply for financial aid. High need families have often qualified for other help and they know that there may be help available. No need families have grown in numbers over the last 9 years by simply playing off our fears that they could take their child elsewhere. Financial aid awards given defensively have only served to encourage more and more no-need families to apply. But families with true low to moderate need, often referred to as the middle class, have been few and far between. This makes up what is known as the financial aid barbell effect. It's well known that schools have tried to attract middle-class families that won't put as much strain on their financial aid budget by running ad campaigns and adding open houses. Some schools have even hired a marketing director to attempt to make their school attractive to these families. Unfortunately, these costly actions are much less successful than we would hope. Are they just not able or willing to pay for our schools? Rollu was built as the answer to this question. Misconceptions. It's as easy as that. Let's use the term emotional middle class because many of these families can afford some or all of our schools, but have never even considered private school as an option. Some of you may even chafe at the term private school, but in order to understand this phenomenon, you need to see yourself through their eyes, and to many families, you are a private school. Many parents who attended public school are able to pay our prices, or a good portion of them, but their view of private school is often shaped by what they see on TV and in the movies. Rarely is that the positive image we would like. It often shows us as overly exclusive and only accepting the most gifted kids. These families often believe that needing aid would affect their child's chances of being accepted. Some families that might need a little assistance have been conditioned by social programs and college student loans to believe that they would never qualify for aid or that they would need to pay the assistance back. Many families are not even aware that there are significant price differences among schools and may never know that they could afford your school. So, what can schools do to combat this? Well, addressing their concerns head-on when they inquire is a good strategy when you can guess what misconception they have. But more importantly, how is the getting them to inquire part going? For an individual school or even a defined group, messaging to address these concerns is awkward at best. Imagine putting any of these messages on your advertising. Messages that signal weakness for any individual school erode our value proposition to existing families, which often leads to more of our current families asking for deals. Other schools that may be having the very same issues themselves will use our messaging against us when speaking to prospective families. Running more frequent open houses is time-consuming and stretches our resources. If few or sometimes no families show up, it can be demoralizing to staff and volunteers. Schools have been left with few options when it comes to connecting with the emotional middle class. Is there an answer? Well, there is now. Rollu was designed to message to underinformed and hesitant families, attacking the misconceptions and lowering the hurdles to explore an option they previously didn't think was possible. We then follow up with an invitation to create an anonymous profile, allowing schools to reach out to them without fear of rejection. This method diminishes any concerns the family may have about feeling out of place and allows your admissions team to control the message and make them feel welcome and wanted. Rollu is incredibly easy to use for both the school and family. Families will create a profile that includes the qualities they're looking for in a school, as well as their child's age, gender, race, religion, commuting distance, academic ability, interests, and how much they feel they would be able to pay. Schools are then able to browse profiles of students within commuting distance and then choose whether to reach out and ask for a conversation with those that look to be a good fit. If the family accepts the request, your school will then be given the ability to contact the family. At that point, it's all in the hands of your admissions team. It couldn't be easier. So you're saying to yourself, this sounds great. How can my school get started with Rollu? Rollu has made the investment in schools by building an easy-to-use system to gather and disperse prospective student profiles. We have also paid for a 2-month radio ad schedule in a smaller market to prove we could message effectively and gather quality profiles. The results were impressive in that we gathered hundreds of profiles from interested families. We would like to help as many markets as possible, but buying effective radio coverage is a significant expense, so we're asking for schools to help by investing in themselves. Investing comes in the form of purchasing access levels explained in the next slide. Each market will be promised a minimum marketing spend for their investment, and no money will be taken until we are able to promise that the minimum has been secured. None of the investment money goes to Rollu. It's all used to purchase marketing for the area you invest in. Early investors are rewarded with significant advantages not available after the investing period is closed. To make sure families are not overwhelmed, we limit the amount of schools that can ask for a conversation. These can be requested on a first-come, first-served basis, but schools do have the ability to purchase access levels that will help them make sure they are able to reach out to families that they believe will be the right fit for their school. While all profile attributes will play a role in which student will interest a school, the amount a family can pay will ultimately play a big role in many schools' decisions. Rollu has priced the access levels to allow schools with higher tuitions to make sure they're able to access profiles that can afford a healthy percentage without significant aid. When a market first opens, Rollu will allow a limited number of early investors the ability to lock in at a significant discount for 3 years. This is by no means a 3-year commitment. We expect you to take advantage of the price freeze only if you have been satisfied with the benefits. Our top-level preferred members will have access to profiles the day they're released. They will enjoy a higher number of conversations they can claim per day. All levels will benefit from top-rated local radio, Facebook, and Google advertising, but preferred members will have targeted social media advertising to their chosen demographic. Our second-level premium members will have access to available profiles on the second day and are allowed more conversations per day than the free membership. Free members will be able to choose from any listings still available on the 5th day. Rollu only ever collects a fee for a profile if you enroll the student. All levels are subject to a finder's fee of 10% of the posted tuition of the grade they're entering and a 3% royalty each year they successfully re-enroll. The 3% is determined by the initial year they enroll and will not rise with tuition hikes. The royalty lasts up to 5 years for preferred members, 7 years for premium, and the duration a child is in your school for the free members. Rollu chose this payment structure to lower the initial finder's fee and also lower the risk to the school of a family leaving after 1 year. Our early investor pricing allows for almost any school to afford the preferred member benefits, but as each market will only be allowed a limited number of preferred accounts, consideration should be given to locking into this highly advantageous level of membership early. While every investment carries some risk, we have made Rollu as low risk as possible with a very high reward probability. Let's take a look. For this example, we're going to use a school with a tuition of $15,000. An example that is customized for your school can be requested by simply emailing us. Let's say this school chooses the preferred membership at our early investor price of $5,000. Our assumption is that with this level of access, the school should enroll students at an average of 70% of full tuition. We will then assume that they are able to enroll a modest number of 5 new students to seats that would have gone empty. In the first year, after paying the $5,000 membership fee and the 10% of tuition per child, the school would net $40,000 in revenue. That's $40,000 extra to add to the operations budget. In year 2, those same 5 students would be adding $50,250 of net revenue. This is without even considering other students you would obtain through Rollu the second year. Over 5 years, just these 5 students would net the school an extra $241,000 in revenue. Here's the bottom line. If you were to gain only 1 new student at 50% of full tuition, you would end up netting a positive $1,000 gain year 1 and $29,200 over 5 years. This is about as low risk as it gets. As you can see, premium memberships also have an incredibly low risk. For those schools that feel that they cannot invest, if Rollu opens in your market, the free option is simply a no-brainer. Once again, please contact us for a customized version of this slide for your school. To sum up, Rollu brings you an incredibly low-risk, high-reward system that will once and for all answer the question, is the middle class a possible solution for softening enrollment demand? Just a small percentage of current public school families making inquiries to our schools could change demand quickly and dramatically. When enough forward-thinking schools invest in Rollu opening in your area, a significant minimum marketing purchase is guaranteed and can go higher with greater participation. Advertising will lead to hundreds of profiles that you can access through our easy-to-use system. There could not be an easier way to improve your enrollment situation. We truly believe this product can achieve the virtuous circle. Everybody benefits. Families can connect with schools that will provide a better education option for their children. Schools fill empty seats, which will help both their budget and morale. The independent school community will have more demand and not have to worry about financial aid being a source of competition. Rollu can then create more products to help schools be the best they can be. Contact us to find out how to make sure Rollu comes to your area soon.